No one could hear me. I'm so bad at this. Every single time. Every single time. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kobold Chats. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. I use they, he pronouns, and, hey, happy Wednesday. We made it a hump day, if people still say that. I don't know if they do, but regardless, I said it, so that's all that really matters. I hope you all are having a wonderful middle of your week. Halloween was yesterday. I hope everybody had a very fun time with their friends, their loved ones, getting candy, making treats, giving out candy, whatever it is you did yesterday. I hope it was great. You know what else was great? Our Make-A-Wish charity one shot that was here on Kobold Press's Twitch. If you missed it yesterday, the VOD is still in the Twitch, so you could go back and watch it. And I'll also be uploading it Monday, I believe, on the YouTube. So, if you don't want to watch it on Twitch, you can watch it on YouTube. You can share it with your friends. Do whatever you want. But it was a great time. We raised $300 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And that's thanks to all of you wonderful people and all the people who came to watch and donated. Thank you all so much. It was such an incredibly fun time, and we'll of course be talking about it more because we have a special guest today. If you didn't read the thing, Lexi, BlackGirlMage. We'll get to him. I have them in the back. They're behind the curtain. Don't worry. We'll bring them out. But first, we just got to take care of a few things. We got to make sure that we know what's on the docket today. Let us. People can see Lexi because I accidentally didn't hide you. Hi, Lexi. All right, yeah, no, I'm gonna put Lexi back behind the curtain. I'm so sorry. Just hide really quick. Okay. This is a great look. Kobold, you all know. We like to keep it really loose. we like to have fun here. Hey, Jiro, what are we talking about today? First and foremost, the Tales of the Valiant pre-order is up on the Kobold Press store. If you haven't already gotten your pre-order in on BACKERKIT, if you didn't already, if you weren't already a backer or anything like that, you have the ability now. You can still get it on BACKERKIT, or you can just go to the Kobold Press store and get it because why not? Come on. I put it. Is that the right one? That is the right one. Why did that? No. What? Okay, that's the right pre-order link. The copy is wrong, but the pre-order link is correct. That is the link you go to on the store to be able to pre-order Tales of the Valiant. So go ahead, check it out. It's coming. It's like 2024 is not that far away, and we've got big things in store for Tales of the Valiant. Speaking of which, what did I have? Oh yes, I know. The Tales of the Valiant, the backer. Let me find it again. Oh no, what did I do with it? There it is. Bam, the Partner Pack Adventure. If you were a backer, you should already have the links to the Partner Pack Adventure that had a bunch of different adventures that a bunch of different amazing people our Kobold Press partners made. If you backed it at the level where you would get the adventure pack, the link should be in your email to start downloading those now. And if you didn't back it, just you wait, because don't worry. We'll have more to talk about that next week. But be on the lookout. That email should already be there. Next up, Tome Unleashed. If you have Tome of Beast, which you should, because Tome of Beast is really cool. Tome Unleashed. What Tome Unleashed is all, or not all of them, a lot of the monsters that were taken from Tome of Beast have been reskinned, recontextualized, taken bits and pieces of them, turn them into magic items, show you that just you can have a monster and you can break that down, change it any way you want, and you can make something new, something really cool, either to challenge your players with as an adversary or as a boon to your players if they want to take the fangs of one monster that has amazing powers and you create a magic item that gives them the ability to use a spell or like some other ability that could be really, really game changing for them, and also just kind of helps liven up your world a little bit, adds a little bit more texture. These creatures out there, these monsters, they aren't static. They are dynamic, evolving things and are a part of our world in so many ways. And well, Tome Unleashed is just a toolkit that helps you, get all of that, So, Tome Unleashed, it is already on the Kobold Press store. It's I think it's like $4.99. It's a pretty good price for a lot of value, and so I just think it's cool. I think you all should check it out. Next up, we have Planar Adventures. Planar Adventures is a series that is on our blog that we've been doing that talks to you about all of the different, that brings you subclasses, that brings you, it talks to you about the different ways that magic and the planes are used in campaigns about planar travel. I know Spelljammer just came out. If you're doing cosmic adventures through the planes right now, Planar Adventures is really, really cool. I think the newest Planar Adventures 3 just came out yesterday on the blog, and it has 2 subclasses in it. It's a barbarian subclass and a cleric subclass. I think it's the philosophist for the cleric, and then the what is the let me check again. I think I have it up somewhere. Yeah, and the barbarian is Path of the Great Test. Great warriors test themselves against the most powerful beasts and challenges of the world. For some, though, one world is not enough. Those barbarians who feel constrained by the limits of one world take to the plains and embrace the Great Test, to travel to every plane and pit themselves against the most dangerous trials each reality has to offer. The most devoted seek to travel to every layer and realm of the planes in hopes of creating a legend that will echo across the planes. If that don't sound amazing to you all, I'm sorry, you're probably a little boring, because that sounds pretty damn sweet to me, if I'm being quite honest. There's some really cool things in there. There are already 2 other planar adventure blog posts out there that go on about magic, specifically in the planes, and then just plane hopping in general. Go check them out. Look at all this, and it's free, right? It's on the blog. This stuff, there's constantly stuff coming out on the Kobold Press blog that you could just use. You don't gotta pay for it. You don't gotta do nothing. You just gotta use it. So, go on. Go! Well, no, stay here, but, click the button and, look at it while we talk, And then speaking of us talking, it is time for me to reveal, for the first time ever in this stream, never seen before in this stream, Lexi. Tell everybody who you are.
I am the wizard behind the curtain, the mage behind the curtain. I am a professional dungeon master and game master. I am a writer, I'm a screenwriter, I'm a performer, musician, composer, all of the things, any of the things you can think of. Big hobbies guy over here. Big hobbies. Truly. And yeah, I was Minnie, or Vehelda, I think my full witch name was. I was Minnie in yesterday's Make-A-Wish one-shot, where I played the Annihilation Paladin. I didn't get to show off any Annihilation Paladin, like too much of what I could do. I did my channel divinity,
You did.
but one of them is super wicked, so I'm excited to talk about it today.
Yes, which is exactly. Oh, I pressed the exact wrong. See, I love buttons. I need a stream deck.
We gotta get you a stream deck.
I need a stream deck. I'm just using my number pad here, and I have to every time I have to remember what number does what. Did I already press that button? Did I press a It'll come. It'll come. But yes, we're talking again, Deep Magic 2, where you found. Tell me. So when we were doing character creation, which first of all, I love Minnie. So both Minnie and Marilato were just the way that you and Nathan played off of each other as just like these two witch sisters was just so fun.
Like the true story behind it was like Stella and Joe being like, would you like to be lovers who never speak about anything? Like, we never talk about how in love we are. And I was like, dang, I gotta be faster. Yeah. Like, I want in on this, but I'm too slow. And it was so fast. And I was like, Nathan, let's be something. And we were like, yeah. And I think I threw out the idea of being like old. I just love the idea of playing old people in D&D games. I think it's so much fun. Mainly because everyone's like, I would like to play an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a level 13 sorcerer, and I'm like, what age did they start?
Right? Exactly. I love when people play old people in games, just because I think that, I don't know, it feels like there's more stuff to explore and like more when you're playing someone who has history.
Yes.
Right? There's something so fun about that.
I think that there's more potential to, I think when you have older people in a campaign, there's more potential to be like, well, yeah, I do know someone from that town. Even when I didn't have powers, I would have traveled there for this, or I would have, my favorite fabric comes from that town, so I know exactly who makes it. Because once you get old, you get super particular. So I just think that no matter what, like, it gives you the possibility of having a life before this. Whereas I know everyone's like rushing to play like young or like middle-aged people, but that kind of just limits like how much you know in the world. You might be new to your magic, but you might not be new to the world you live in. So I love it. I love it.
It's so good. You two did an amazing job playing old people with his. There was just the two of you bickering outside of the tavern, being like, "We've got to do our thing." Okay, so you're gonna go in, and I'm gonna go in.
And I'm just like, I'm not feeling hype enough. I just don't know.
It's just.
Are we sure we want to do this? It's wild. It was absolutely wild, but so much fun.
Yeah. So tell me, what made you so? The two of you were playing witches, right? But even though you were playing witches, you decided that you were going to be a paladin, specifically the Oath of Annihilation.
Yes.
What drew you to that?
I think that for me, a lot of witches are kind of earthy. They're very connected to primal magic. I love the idea of, I think everyone does this now. Not everyone ties the Oath of the Paladin to a religion, but ties it to a philosophy. Yeah. I think that's way more interesting than tying it to a specific deity or anything like that. And I really like the idea of this, like, witch, like, so the Oath of Annihilation, I believe you have it up on stream. You do.
Yes, I do. I do.
Can I read this little passage out here?
Please.
It says, the Oath of Annihilation is as ancient as the darkness between stars. Paladins who take this oath, sometimes called anti-paladins, dark paladins, or death knights, represent the antithesis of the ideal protector knight. They see themselves as divine instruments of reckoning and foretellers of Armageddon. So I had this idea because me and Nathan had talked about, like, we were bad, like we were in a coven of 3, and all together we all had like nefarious plans, and we were all not good people. And then when Perlatrix, the third witch, decided to ditch us because we like weren't enabling her plans, we didn't realize how codependent we were. Right. So then we just decided to try being good. And so I was thinking about what kind of witch would kind of turn around from being bad. And I think that Oathbreaker doesn't really fit, even though that's given as one of the main, like it's literally in the Dungeon Master's guide as like, if you want an evil paladin, here's what you use. I was like, that doesn't exactly cut it.
Yeah.
So like the idea of the kind of witch that's like, I'm thinking like, the I think it's the Furies. Yes, the Furies from Hercules. Where
Oh
all three of
yeah,
them are
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
death and gloom to you, and everyone's like, we get it, we get it.
They're
Leave
like
us
sharing
alone.
the eyeball, and like, you don't understand. Fate is going to come. It's like, okay, all right,
And
cool.
everyone's like, yeah, fate is gonna come, we get it, okay, can I get a side of cheese with that? Like, they don't really care. And I think that that's the kind of witch I was building, was like, I'm already very creepy. I'm playing this like long whiskered owl, and then it got kind of like a little screech owl situation, and then I'm truly like, the idea of my little owl head turning and looking at someone and then predicting the future, like Armageddon, and their cities raised, and
That's so
the bloodlines like cut off, like that kind of witch was where I was leading towards.
That's really good. And yeah, no, I think that like you bring up like a really good point of like, there's so many different kinds of witches, right? Or there should be, right? I think in mythology we see like there are the witches that are like that live in the forest that people go to with their problems and be like, hey, I have this, you know. They're really typically like just wizened old people who have, you know, a greater connection with like spirits, magic, and all of that. And like that comes into so many different forms, including the witches that are like, hey, I wouldn't step outside on the 3rd of March at 3 p.m. if I were you. And be like, hello? What?
Hey, kid, want to hear about your own death? Like,
just like, excuse me?
Yeah. I think it's also interesting because, I mean, there have been tons of videos and stuff talking about, like, the different kinds of, like, the difference between society's perception of wizards versus witches. And I think that witches kind of get that treatment of prone, close to the earth, kind of, very earthen, like more so into the disgusting and far away from the ivory tower academic wizard that we usually see. So anytime that I can play a witch that is a druid, or a witch that is a paladin, or a witch that is just like I guess even like a fighter, like that's kind of the kind of themes I really look for, are going against what witches are normally seen as, which are like usually people stick with druids. But I was very, very excited about this like witch that could blight instead of smite, and speak the future and rain hellfire on just as a bonus action.
That's so good. I love that. So, looking at the Oath of Annihilation, the tenets are great, right? And like super, like not you, like even like, let's say, even if this wasn't like a witch character, right? As a player character, these are interesting tenets.
So juicy,
right? To like extinguish the weak, but like extinguish the weak alongside maintain the balance is fascinating to me, right? Because it's like you are looking to both utterly defeat all those who oppose you, but also you have to know that part of why you're doing this. Sorry, Mike. Yes. Hello.
They said hello.
I'm sorry, V. We're doing a show. We're doing a show right now, baby girl.
She said, "Are you sure?
Are you...
If the camera's rolling, just don't."
It's gonna be okay.
I don't think she knows that.
She doesn't know that.
No.
Right, I'll get to you. Sorry. She's just standing in the door staring at me.
Yeah.
Are you gonna come back? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working right now.
Come hang out with me.
But like knowing that like part of why you are extinguishing the weak and like utterly annihilating all those who oppose you is because of this like concept of like what balance looks like, right? To whatever to you, for Minnie, what did balance look like in your mind for her?
I think it looked like instead of being, because I think the weak thing, I think that you don't have control over how strong or weak you are, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that when making the character, but like this is a character me and Nathan had also talked about, like we went from like level 20 witches down to level 5
Yeah.
because our coven had broken up. So
Mm-hmm.
like this is someone who is actively realizing you have zero control over power, but what you can do is like dedicate your power to goodness or badness, and they were just now trying out goodness. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that like this was a character whose like balance meant like a profound commitment to the path of evil or the path of good.
Mm-hmm.
Um and
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that there was still good that happened, like they were trying to really bring more balance, but also being like the first thing that we said when the kid like bolted upright was like, we gotta go, like
We gotta
get
go.
out of
We
here.
gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
We're
like we
done.
did one. We don't need anything else. Like
Yeah.
it was perfect. So I feel like the biggest thing is just like the balance of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if you're a predictor of Armageddon, there is nothing that can stop the evil that's coming. It's just someone can stop it, but instead of it being like a domino that's taken out of the stack, it's more so a wave in a line that gets pushed down, and like a
Mm-hmm.
carpet, like the carpet, you push it down somewhere and
And
it bumps up somewhere else, you know?
exactly.
It's not something that just gets taken out. So,
Doom comes for all of us eventually. Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's super,
Yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah, my character is the embodiment of that vine, the one vine that's like the old lady outside of the bus where she's like,
It's like, oh, yeah, I know the exact video you're talking
like trying to
about.
get everyone to wake or to open up the bus
He was
door.
like, let me in. Let
Yeah,
me in. It's just like, no. No. It's
Like I
so,
couldn't pull together 20 cents to get on the bus apparently.
it's so good.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at let's see. So those are the two. You also have Revel in Destruction, which definitely feels
Yeah.
very, very mini.
Yes, for sure.
And then yeah,
Um,
and the embracing the end also very much goes into that, like Doom is going to come for all of us eventually. You know, there's a
mhm.
certain. I really wish you could see what's happening right now.
I really wish I could too.
My cat has pushed her face through closed blinds so that she can. I'm gonna take a. Oh, she stopped. she,
Dang.
she was
Oh,
like, "Oh no, you're about to get no photography, no no flash photography, no paparazzi, none
my
of that."
gosh.
It was very cute.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, kind of going along, like the doom will come for all of us, right? At this point, it's just the balancing of making sure that whatever does come isn't like, if you push too far down the line, it's all gonna come to you eventually.
Yep. Yep, it will hit you all at once. And
Mm-hmm.
it did.
And it did, and
It did.
it did.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I like that. And then this last tenet of like embrace the end. That's exactly. I think that kind of played through in the little vignette we did, where
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why not?
Which
Why
like
not?
yeah, which you did amazing, by the way. I
Oh my
love
god.
I like you pulling Perlatrix into that scene. I think was like exactly what we needed to kind of tie
Yep.
everyone into it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And it was just like you did. What did that see? How did it? Cause I guess how did that and all of the other vignettes feel to you? Like as like the mounting horror of like mixing in your fears with this scene and like how you had to interact with it.
Well, I think that one, I don't think Minnie was prepared to face any fear. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the moment of I've banked so many waves now that it's going to hit me like a tidal. You know, like that's kind of that was what was going on there. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew, and I think that like just the idea that it wasn't something that we should run from. Like it's not a fear I can run from. and my character wasn't prepared to. I was like, there was no. I also know narratively I hadn't introduced anyone but Merlin. Like I didn't introduce anyone else to the story, so there was no reason for me to bring like the only other person I probably would have brought in was Josephine's character as like someone who saw that I couldn't, like, who had just now seen my use, but like I continued to disappoint and, you know, just get verbally decimated. But I think that Perlatrix was exactly that. So I think that the scenes all felt like brutal. Oh my god, they felt brutal. In such a great way that, like, I really love horror, and I love when you can sign on for horror, because once you know what you're going in with and you utilize safety tools correctly, it is such a wonderful experience to just like be scared or like truly subject yourself to your biggest fears.
Yeah.
And so it was so much fun to think about, but I knew that Perlatrix, like, I didn't really know the whole relationship. I was like, I don't know if my character really thinks that Perlatrix is better than them. I think that, like, Nathan's character was like Merletta. She was like fully convinced that they were going to be fine, but I was like, I don't think my character is convinced in the slightest. Like,
yeah,
I think she's having to talk herself up every single day to not try to like turn around and go back up.
She's having to say affirmations in the mirror every time.
In the mirror every day. You will make it through today. You are a bird. You did this.
You are a bird.
Yes.
You can fly away. You are free. You will. You are strong enough.
Yes, you do have a 30-foot flying speed. He will be okay. Like, the affirmations are real. So I think that, I mean, I could kind of get, because I think that Shy wasn't prepared to go up against her fears.
Yeah.
My character wasn't. Nathan's character, Merletta, I think had fears, but had already done some facing before we got there. And then I think that Lavinia was the perfect person to kind of like rebel against their fears, because I think there was one channel divinity ability that I really wanted to use, but I used it earlier, which makes me sad. We'll come back to these spells, because they were good. That was part of the reason I chose Witch. But the Vow of Ruin. As a bonus action, you can utter a vow of ruination using your channel divinity for 1 minute each time you hit an object or construct. The attack is a critical hit. If your weapon is non-magical, it becomes a magic weapon with a +1 bonus to attack rolls and the damage rolls for the duration.
Oh, that's good.
So, like, I don't think technically a creature is an object, but also I think that it might be because I think that it's not like a target creature. I think that... I'm looking this up right now, but in my mind, I was like, oh, dang it, it's not. It's an inanimate object. But in my mind, I'm glad that I didn't try to use that then.
Yeah.
But I was like, a crit? Just however many times I hit this thing?
Well, I mean, a construct would be a creature. So, like, if there were like animated armors or like anything like that, that 100% would just like start wrecking. I think. Wait, are inanimate armors construct? I think so.
Yes, they are. Okay. Anything that is, if it's brought to life by something or awakened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it becomes a magic weapon with a +1 bonus. I think that I was just like, for 1 minute, that means I get like
basically an entire combat.
Exactly, an entire combat of critting on something.
Right.
And I was just like, this could be very cool. And I think that's a very utilitarian spell, rather than being like, if it was a target creature, then I would know that the spell is meant for battle. Whereas this is like, in my mind, I thought of like bringing a bridge down or something.
Yeah, that's 100% what it feels like.
Or like a pillar, like bringing down the pillar that crushes everyone in the building, including themselves. Like, it's one of those things, like, the balance must be like, what remains is balance at all times, and then the paladin just like strikes the pillar, crits, and then everyone else is doing their fight. They're like, they won't do it again. Every single turn,
Just
you
like
just continue to crit.
keep hitting this pillar.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That is. Now let's talk about some of these spells, though.
Oh gosh, they're super cool.
So for 3rd level, Paladin, these are the Oath of Annihilation spells that you automatically get as, Paladin. You get Bane, great spell. Proselytize, that's a new one from this specific book, Deep Magic Volume 2. Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll read the rest. So 5th level, you get Augury, Shatter. Augury, like, that feels very, divination witchy, right?
Yep.
Seeing about the doom that is about to happen, potentially. Bestow Curse, good. Phantom Steed. I would have loved to see what kind of Phantom Steed Minnie would pull out were we of that level.
I have no idea what she would have done.
Really?
Now that I think about it. But because would a bird can I think she would try to ride another bird.
She'd just get a bigger bird.
Yep, a bigger bird.
Like a rock or something like that. Or exactly. I don't know if you could get a rock, but like a
That's a big CR.
That's a
but
big
yes.
Yeah. Like a mini rock, like a baby one.
A baby rock that I take good care of. Very good care of.
of.
Even though it's like imaginary, whatever.
13th level, you get Blight, Caustic Waste, which is also another Deep Magic 2 spell, and then Contagion, and then Hollow, which is a good spell. So yeah, did you find what page Proselytize is on?
Yes, it is on page 211. I can read it for you.
Yes, please. Go for it.
So it's a 1st level enchantment, and it's 1 action, 10-foot radius starting from the self. It's got a verbal, somatic, and material component, which is like a holy symbol, religious tome, text, or pamphlet, and then it's instantaneous. You imbue your words with overwhelming emotion, bringing creatures around you to their knees. Every creature within 10 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature is knocked prone and can't take reactions until the end of its next turn. And at higher levels, when you cast using a spell slot 2nd or higher, the radius of the effect increases by 10 feet for each slot above 1st.
Yo, that's pretty good.
It's sick. I think it's so cool.
That's super cool. And I'm also like, that's like a great player spell, but also I think there's something to like, as an antagonist spell, right? You're dealing with cultists or like evil cleric or anything like that, and just having describing like a crowd of people like falling into this like fit of like emotion, falling to their knees in front of them, and you're like, oh, they're just like a really good speaker, they're so passionate. It's like, or
make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Exactly. Like, excuse me?
That's, it's so juicy. It's so good. And then I think the other one, Caustic Waste, I found it.
What page is that?
It is on page, hold up 1 second. It is on page 150.
150. Wait, I'm sorry. I just found another, as I was kind of just scrolling up, and I found a spell called Pocket Full of Posies.
Oh, please, read it, please.
You crush a handful of flower petals and sing a morbid rhyme. For the duration, you have advantage on saving throws against disease, and a creature that makes a melee attack against you that could inflict a disease, such as a death dog's bite attack, must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell, then this spell ends.
That's nuts.
That's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
That's pretty.
Because that's not even like, hey, they get rid of their attack. It's just like, don't bite me.
Don't bite me. I got these posies in my pocket. Hey, you smell these flowers? These flowers are good. They smell good. Don't bite me.
Get away from me.
Get away from me. Well, okay.
Oh my gosh.
What was that page again? I got
150, no worries.
150.
Yeah, Caustic Waste is a 4th level evocation spell. It's an action, range 120 feet, concentration for up to a minute. You create either a rectangular pool of acid 50 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 5 feet deep, or a circular pool of acid 20 feet in diameter and 3 feet deep in an open space you can see within range. Each creature in the spell's area when the spell is cast takes 4d10 acid damage, or half as much with a successful dexterity saving throw. A creature that enters the area on its turn or ends its turn in the area takes 4d10 acid damage, or half as much with a successful dex saving throw. A creature can take this damage only once per turn. At higher levels, 5th level or higher, the damage increases by 1d10 for each slot above 4. Talk about battlefield control.
Right? You're just opening up a pool of just toxic, like, that's just what, and that, like, 50 feet long is long. Okay?
It's long.
That's long.
It's so long. 10 feet wide, too.
Also, 5 feet deep means that there are some, like, some of, like, the smaller races, like halflings, dwarves, like, some of those, that's just, like, above their heads at that point. They're just in it, you know?
I feel like it's like it's definitely a higher level, because it's a 4th level evocation spell. That means that let me see, paladins can cast 4th level at 13th level. That's when they get their first 4th level spell slot. So that's one of those things where it's like everyone has already fought together and can do like inane amounts of damage, and then you're like, everyone like, let's do our battle strategy, and everyone forms up, pushes all of the bad guys to one side, and then the paladin just like opens this wide pool,
because you can open it right under them. There's nothing saying you can't. So if you like in that line, you can just, and like you're fighting, let's say, goblins, kobolds, halflings, dwarves.
This is a horde haver. Yes. That's what I'll say. A horde haver. It's not. I don't think it's for the big bad to get like pushed in a vat of acid. It's like all of the heroes use their actions to like try to push all of the smaller goons into like, whether it's that 50 feet long thing or the 20 foot long or 20 foot in diameter pool in the center of a battlefield. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like,
that's wild.
And like you can do that. You can wall off an area just for you to be like, okay, you know, we're gonna funnel everybody this way, or we're gonna like close off this air. Like you're running down a tunnel. That 50-foot thing doesn't have to be that way. It can be down the tunnel. So that's a 50-foot long pit that you've just made it harder for people to follow you.
It's
like,
so cool.
There's so many uses for it. It's so cool.
Oh, and I just can imagine like getting higher levels, casting this spell, and just allowing it to be like, so if it's like 14th level that you get your 4th level spells, or 13th level, then 17th level is when you get your 5th level spells. You never go above a 6th. But like letting that be like 5d10 damage is kind of fun. Or even, I guess, Caustic Waste. I think that there are some sorcerers and some other spellcasters in this that get that.
I was about to check that.
Yeah, some higher level spellcasters, like, being able to upcast this at, like, 7th, 8th level. Once you hit, like, level 9, or not level 9, level, like, 18, 19. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, who is this?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who all. Let's see. So... Sorcerer can get up to 9th level once they hit 17th. Okay. Wizard obviously can get up to 9th level once they hit 17th as well. So I just can see a bunch of other classes being able to
looks like the
smash with this.
The wizard gets it. Okay, what is this? Okay, that's the wizard.
Oh yeah.
Does the warlock get it? No, warlock doesn't get it. Oh wait, no, that was the witch.
Yeah, because it's the Doom Domain cleric gets it. Which is, and then the paladin gets it.
Paladin gets it.
And it looks like just that here. Wait,
the druid
Doom,
gets
cleric.
it.
Yeah.
Cleric gets it. There's a lot of people who get it.
That's good, because I think it is just one of those spells that's like, it's kind of like Blight. It's kind of like these big damage dealing, but like battlefield changing spells that like normally just druids get.
Yeah.
But for a paladin to have access to that is very interesting, and I think that they would have a good chance of like having a super high spell save DC as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for the creatures to have to do a successful dexterity saving throw against their spell saving DC higher than like a wizard or even anyone else, I think like the paladin is more likely to have dumped what they need to get a high spell save DC.
Yeah. There's so many just really cool spells in this.
Yeah, we should just read some of these. 'Cause, like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
obsessed.
feel like every time I like go to a new page, I find like I just came across Misstep.
Mhm.
It's a cantrip, one action, 30 feet, verbal and somatic, instantaneous. You gesture to a creature within range that you can see. If the target fails a wisdom saving throw, it uses its reaction. So, that's good, to move 5 feet in a direction that you dictate. This movement does not provoke opportunity attacks, which is understandable. The spell automatically fails if you direct the target into a dangerous area, such as a pit trap, a bonfire, or the edge, or off the edge of a cliff, or if the target has already used its reaction. That's understandable. You don't want to just free like push people, but this can get the wizard who's currently like in that 5-foot radius of someone who's like if there's someone who is in danger of getting opportunity attacked in this moment, bam, that's a free get them out of that situation so they don't have to use like a dodge or a disengage action.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So good.
I found one called Celebration. It's a 7th level enchantment, one action, an hour. You create a 30-foot radius around a point you choose within range. An intelligent creature that enters the area or starts its turn there must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature starts to engage in celebratory revelry. Also, this is on page 150 as well.
150?
Yeah. On a failed save, the creature starts to engage in celebratory revelry, drinking, singing, laughing, and dancing. Affected creatures are all reluctant to leave the area until the spell ends, preferring to continue the festivities. They forsake appointments, cease caring about their woes, and generally behave in a cordial, if not hedonistic, manner. This preoccupation with merrymaking occurs regardless of the affected creature's agenda or alignment. Assassins procrastinate, servants join the celebration rather than working, and guards abandon their posts. The effect ends on a creature when it's attacked, takes damage, or is forced to leave the area. A creature that makes a successful saving throw can leave, but if you expend your ritual focus, an unaffected intelligent creature must make a new saving throw every time it starts its turn in the area. That feels like a big bad spell. That feels like an adventure starting spell.
Right.
Like City Hall, everyone's gathered around for a festival. And like people start just like laughing so deeply and dancing. Like, there's drinks suddenly.
It like
that. Gosh.
Like especially like in like if it's already a party, right? Or if it's already like a kind of like celebration and like in a 30-foot radius around the party, and you're just like, make a wisdom saving throw. They're like, excuse me? And then they do it, and like let's say like they succeed, and then they just start watching everybody like just like partying a little too hard now, and it's like, what is happening, what's going on? And then like just start making perception checks, and like then like, oh, you're noticing there are a few people around here that actually aren't super into the party as everybody else is and seem like they're doing other stuff. You're like, what's going on? It's like there's just so like there's so much flavor in each of these spells, and so much like there's just so many really creative. Okay, by the light of the watchful moon. I don't know why I read that and immediately Sailor Moon popped in my head.
Yes. God.
Regardless of the time of day or your location, you command the watchful gaze of the moon to illuminate threats to you and your allies. Shafts of bright moonlight, each 5 feet wide, shine down from the sky or from the ceiling if you're indoors, illuminating all spaces within range that contain threats, whether they are enemies, traps, or hidden hazards. An enemy creature that makes a successful charisma saving throw resists the effect and is not picked out by the moon's glow. The moon does not make invisible creatures visible, but it does indicate an invisible creature's general location somewhere within the 5-foot beam. The light continues to illuminate any target that moves, but a target that moves out of the spell's area is no longer illuminated. A threat that enters the area's effect, the area after the spell's cast is not subject to the spell's effect.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine doing that in a scenario where you are trying to call out someone. You're like, I know that person's an assassin, in like a middle of like a room, right, where it's like the king's there, all of like these nobles and stuff. You're like, that person's bad. I know that person has a gun right now and they're about to try to assassinate. And they're like, what? No, I'm not. I'm like, by the light of the moon. And then a moonbeam shoots down from the ceiling to be like, nah, not him. Not that one. That one, don't trust that one. That'd be wild.
Gosh. I think that the biggest thing is like, this is really a lot of how I decide to like build my towns and cities and stuff is based around things like this, because that's like I have a town that is based kind of on the things that I've learned about Tenochtitlan and like the native people that live there and fantasy, and listening to a lot of people that are complaining about how Magic the Gathering writes fantasy when it comes to native people. And I'm like, oh, indigenous people, please speak up. I'm listening. So I have this town and they have little these beams that are like security beams, like the world's first like video camera, if there is one, that like records the entire like all like rooms and entire places in sand. And that kind of thing is absolutely useful,
right,
to a society that already kind of has eyes on most things, but values justice, values justice highly. Like that kind of spell, absolutely,
it's so good.
Very, very cool. Oh my gosh.
Like every page you can find something that just just sparks that part that goes, ooh, I could use this as part of an adventure or a monster or an enemy or a PC, that like really just like brings it to like something that could have just been like, could you make like a circle of druids, right, that have like this artifact that like, oh, like it like you know, the moon will judge these, see like if you're actually like friend or foe to us, right? Like, sure, you could just do that. You could just come up with that. But like the fact that like now there are hard mechanics now that you know exactly how it works. You know, something that was just narrative, something that you could have come up with. Like, there's something that I really, really love about all of the spells that I've seen in this, all the spells that I've seen in Deep Magic 1, but also just like in general that I've seen out of a lot of Kobold Press stuff, is there are a lot of really, really cool, flavorful things that like I see it and I immediately go, I have a million ideas now.
Yep. Because I think that the pressure shouldn't be on you as the DM to get everything right the first time. Obviously, and I do want to draw your attention to Chrysalis on 153. I think this is a very cool, interesting thing. But I think that the pressure is always there to be perfect the first time around when your players throw something at you that you're unable to think of mechanically, or like even when you think of something at the table and you're like, I really wish there was a spell to do this kind of thing, or I really wish there was a magic item that did this, and so you start improving it and it's great. I think that the pressure is already there. Why not use this to take a little bit more pressure off you so that you can actually be able to find a little bit of comfort in knowing someone else has thought up a mechanic for what you want to do, instead of being like, I gotta improv it on the fly and hope that what I said works out mechanically, because if I say it, it's canonized. And I think that obviously I do this all the time. I'm like, hello, I would like to rescind something that I said. I would like to take this back.
We're not perfect. We can't
I'd like
be
to retcon.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I think about how if I say something works some way, my players are going to want to steal that thing or be able to cast that spell. And I need to see if it works in a game where my players are playing and they get to fight pretty much every other session, or pretty often. Like, you have to think about like your villain using something that you just randomly came up with once. and then
Yeah.
they get defeated and your players steal that thing. And then you're like, oh no, this does not work if they have to fight against someone every single week or something. Like,
Right.
so I just like this because it gives you inspiration, and it also gives you a mechanical way to make sure your players know, like, what is going on. Do they actually want to steal this spell or steal the item that holds this spell or whatever? Or do they, like, if they roll an investigation check that's really high, you can actually explain with verbiage that makes sense how
Mm-hmm.
what's going on works.
Exactly.
All
Especially,
that being said,
yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, yeah, I was gonna say like it's like you're 100% correct because
Yeah.
it's the like it's like within the framework of D&D there has to be an accepted amount of not every bit of magic that exists in the world is going to have a spell, right?
Yes.
Because
exactly.
the D&D book would be far too long
Huge.
to
It
list
would be
every
so
single spell,
huge.
but also just because we constantly are having rituals and things that like either our enemies or like good NPCs or there is just so much magic stuff that we have people doing at any and all times that just
Yeah.
aren't spells, and like we just couldn't be able to limit ourselves to the spells that just come in the player's handbook, right?
Yeah.
Because if
Yep.
so, not that much is going on.
Yeah.
Not
And
that much
like,
is going on.
it's magic enough to be able to want something and will it into existence. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that a lot of people think of it that way, of just like a spell doesn't have to, I don't know. We don't have to write everything down. You don't have to improv everything.
Right.
You can still be creative, which is what I think this whole book is. Like, you're being
Yeah.
hyper creative by looking at these things and being like, okay, well, how does this work in the world? Let me make this into a monster's like legendary action or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's just like how monsters and spells work. Somebody's
They're
got to
just
do it first.
exactly. And like as soon as like is like and when you're like describing all of these things and you're like, oh, so this thing works in that way, right? And then your players try to engage with it with the mechanics that they are held down by, right?
Yeah.
Then it gets messy when you don't have a proper explanation or a proper mechanic behind the thing that's
Yes.
grounded in the same rules as theirs, because it's like, well, let's say, oh, they're doing like this ritual, or like, oh, there's this like magic thing that's happening, right? And your character's like, well, can I dispel magic? And it's like, well, I made up this magic thing that happens. I don't know what spell level it is. How do I
Yeah.
determine a magical effect that I just like, what is that, right? Or like,
Yeah.
if they were like, oh, hey, like, can you teach me that thing? And then like, what mechanics do I give it now, right? And it's like, just like, I just love a big book of spells that I can just flip through and go like, okay, I think this is the closest thing to what's happening here, right?
Yep.
Or I'm looking through and I'm like, this is the thing that I was looking for, this character to be able to do. I now have a set of rules that are grounded in the same thing my players are used to, and that my players' rules have to can interact with on the same level. That like
Yeah.
just helps make everything clear, helps keep everything both balanced, but also just like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
just super cool. It's just
It
super cool.
is. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I want to read this spell before we go.
Yeah.
'Cause this is nuts.
What's
This is something that I think it's Chrysalis. It's on page
Oh, yeah.
153 at the bottom. It's a reaction. It's a 5th level transmutation spell, so got to be high level to be able to take this.
Mm-hmm.
But you just need a caterpillar cocoon, and a protective chrysalis surrounds a creature you can see within range as it's reduced to 0 hit points. While protected this way, the target is unconscious from being reduced to 0 hit points, but unlike when a creature is normally unconscious, attacks from attacker within 5 feet are not automatically critical hits.
Okay.
In addition, the target has 3/4 cover and isn't prone while protected. The target must make applicable death saving throws as normal. The chrysalis you roll hit points for it, basically 5d8 plus 3 times your spellcasting modifier.
That's a lot of hit points potentially.
It is very cool. And then the target can regain hit points equal to the chrysalis's remaining hit points if it remains at the end of your next turn.
What?
And okay, wait. Then the chrysalis crumbles to dust. I'm adding continents, I guess, and is destroyed. As the chrysalis crumbles, spectral wings manifest on the target's back, and the target gains a flying speed of 30 feet for 1 minute. Shut
Yo,
up!
dog.
Like, shut up!
That's so cool.
This
What?
is nuts.
That is so
This is nuts.
good.
Like, who wrote this? I would like to send them a.
That's so
There's a
good.
big list
Let
of
me
people who wrote
see.
this.
Hold on, wait. Let
That
me
is
see.
wild.
Wait. Where's the list of people? Where's the list of people?
Yeah, it's a very long list. I
It
always
is a
sit
very long
whenever I
list.
buy one of these books. I just look and I'm like, oh,
Celeste.
bless all of
John.
you.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh. I'm absolutely in love with every single person on that list. None of you can escape my heart and my heart song. I will be every single Sarah Bareilles song I sing from this point on will be about you. That's just it. That's truly just it.
It's so
Oh my
good.
gosh.
Nathan,
Man.
another one of another one of our players from yesterday's one shot. Hello, Nathan. Wonderful to see you, and it's so good.
I'm just in love forever with Sarah Bareilles. Yes, you know. Truly, I cannot express how much of this. I love that Anonymous is one of the name backer designers. Anonymous. Who are you? Show yourself.
Show yourself. Are we singing now? We can sing as we leave. So thank you everybody for being here for another Kobold chat. Thank you, Lexi, for being willing to do this little post-mortem as well as just digging more into Deep Magic Volume 2 because Deep Magic is so dang cool.
Yes, truly.
Yes. Let the people know where they can find you and maybe some stuff that you got going on.
Yeah, so like I said at the top of the show, my name's BlackGirlMage on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me over on those places being upsetting to the general tabletop public. Joking, of course. These days I am mostly just writing for my own personal gain, and freelancing on some things. And show running for some shows. One called Strix U that is making a comeback, baby. It is an all-black HBCU inspired. I know
I'm so ready for it.
I'm excited too. If you like Strixhaven, you will like this show. My players literally just beat me up all day. It's great. And outside of that, I should have a couple of things that I'm not exactly talking about just yet because they're so secret. But soon, there will be some projects that will step out of the mist, become unshrouded to you. So you have to follow me over on Twitter in order to figure out what they are. To unlock those characters.
to unlock those characters, go follow Lexi right now. I don't care what you're doing. Open up Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and follow them. All right. Because they deserve it, and you deserve to have that good content on your timeline. All right.
Thank you.
Of course. And as always, I've been your host, Kendo. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Kendo Makes Films. You can find my actual play podcast, Tales Yet Told, on also places on the internet at Tales Yet Told. And more importantly, you can find us back here, same day next week, same time next week. Over on the YouTube, we got another episode of Tales from the Wasted West, our rerun of a fun fantasy western actual play that has Critical Bard, KP, our own Dot, our own Alexander. It's got Jesse Jurdak playing a game run in a fantasy western wasteland made from our own book. Oh, also Katiosaurus, thank you so much. I knew I was forgetting a name.
Love.
It's so good. Episode 3 coming up this Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time. They're playing in a game made in a world that used our book, Waste of Chaos, a amazing tool set to help you also create awesome apocalyptic wasteland, desert, those kinds of places. It's super cool. Episodes 1 and 2 are already on the YouTube. Go check it out. Episode 3 comes out this Friday. And let's see, what else? I think that's it. Don't forget to get your Tales of the Valiant pre-orders over on the Kobold Press store. And yeah, I think that's it. And you know what? I think to wrap us up, we can sing Akachi's favorite lullaby, if you remember it.
Making a day in the world today takes everything you got.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Goodbye, everyone.
Cheers, y'all.
You should watch Cheers. Everyone should watch Cheers. But other than that, we'll see you next week.